Hello again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week, but not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews in your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Hey, what's up, Broncos country? It is time, close enough, about an hour from now, an hour from kickoff for the Broncos-Chiefs game on Sunday Night Football as the Broncos play arguably their most important game since Super Bowl 50. And we are here tonight to, I'm going to say, I did that for a reason. We're going to talk about everything that's going on, all the inactives, and our thoughts on the game. But more importantly, we want to hear from you all out there, our fans, the viewers, what your thoughts are, any questions you might have, any opinions you might have, things you're watching out for as well. So Jared and David, how you guys doing tonight?
Good day, Kev. Fun, fun fantasy football day. I'm demolishing you. That's fun. But more importantly, the phenomenon of Jared getting absolutely lit up every single week is continuing. He's got 175 points hung on him so far this week. It's a beautiful sight to see.
Is it though?
Yeah, it really is.
Is it?
I mean, it's not me, so yeah.
I want to compare your final points scored against at the end of the season, just against some historical numbers, if I can, in fantasy football, because this is amazing. It's really,
every
really
week.
Incredible. Yeah, every week.
Oh man.
Okay, so Travis, Christopher, Cindy, Rob, Orange Weekly's Rob from the post-game podcast, Tom. How you all doing? Glad you're here. Hey, everyone, keep the comments going. But sorry to cut you off there, Jared. What you got, man?
I want to talk about this game a little bit as we're here for it, and also not talk about fantasy because we know how depressed I get there. Ayla is absolutely destroying me. So let's talk about a big win this weekend. Kev, I do want to mention, because you keep bringing this up, and this kind of this local Denver media idea. Somebody tweeted it once, and that's just been the catch line all week. And I'm not a huge fan of it because, well, don't get me wrong, this is a very important game. This is the difference between first and last. Well, yeah, basically last in the AFC West. It doesn't mean that our season's over with the way that the season's been going. Obviously, the Chargers getting a big win this week, which was frustrating to watch. I was watching; it was really close up until the fumble recovery for 6. It was
a lot like our game against the Eagles, where it was really, really close, and then one fumble just turns the entire game, and then it's a 3-score game by the end.
And then next thing you know, everyone kind of gives up, and there it goes. So that was tough to watch. The Raiders losing to Washington is amazing. That helps out us and Rob as we go into the Raiders game the day after Christmas, which Rob will be there with us for. But big time game this week on a night game. The odds in Vegas have dropped down to 8.5. It was 10 points at one point. Now it's down to 8.5, which means there's quite a bit of betting public that thinks that this game might be a lot closer / a winning game for the Broncos. So I'm interested to see. I'm super excited to see us in primetime. That's for sure.
Yeah, really excited to see.
And David, if you listen to the pregame podcast, me and David talked about this is really kind of like our post-bye week if you talk about injuries. All these guys that are coming back from injuries, our entire offensive line basically coming back from injuries. Kareem Jackson's a big one. I think that's a huge help in the secondary coming off of an injury.
Shelby Harris coming back too.
Shelby Harris coming back, right? Dalton Reisner, we
Both
talked
starting
about
tackles.
Both starting tackles. I think that's a huge thing for us. Momentum going into this game. It's going to be interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Chris, I'll get to your comment about Williams here in a second. Really quickly, so starting off with Travis, can we make the playoffs? Yeah, we can. I think what we're going to come down to is the next couple weeks. I mean, a few weeks really, because we still have 4 division games left out of the 6 remaining games. 5 remaining games? 6 remaining games.
4 out of 6. Yeah, including tonight.
Yeah, so including tonight that. Who knows? It's really a toss-up. I mean, everybody's so close within the division that, this one could really, give the Chiefs and that extra game ahead of everybody. But then, we're all vying for the number 2 spot. I don't know. So can we? Yeah, we can. But there's no definitive way one way or the other to look at this right now.
No, I will say if you win this game tonight, you start to answer the questions of, are the Broncos a serious threat to make the playoffs? Not so much maybe a serious threat to contend at that point, but if you win this game tonight, division's still up for grabs, but you show people you're a serious team and can beat any good team any day.
Right, and to cage expectations, not just a win tonight, but even a close game, if it's a last-minute crazy a crazy tip ball, it's something that, out of the ordinary, it still shows that the Broncos are contenders for playoffs this year with a close game at Arrowhead on a night game. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, and it's that thing we've been talking about all year. It's just the variance. Do we see the Broncos offense that is sharp enough to actually score opening drive touchdowns like they've done before this year? Or do we get the Broncos offense that goes, 0-yard run, incomplete pass short of the sticks on 3rd and 10, punt? For the first 6 drives, neither would surprise me. It's if they're going to be that first team for the rest of the season, they've got to do it 2 games in a row to start, and that's got to be tonight.
Yep. Looking at the inactives that just came out a few minutes ago, nothing too surprising there. Brett Rippon, Melvin Gordon, we know we'll talk about Williams in just a second. Bassie, Jamar Johnson, and Mike Purcell are the 5 inactives for the Broncos. For the Chiefs, their 3rd-string quarterback, Bushelli, I think is how you say his name, Fenton, the cornerback, the tackle, Niang, and the offensive tackle.
That's their starting right tackle.
Long. Yeah, so starting right tackle, and then their other tackle, Kyle Long, are the 4 inactives they have.
Okay. Well, so for the Broncos, that's that to me, Mike Purcell not being in there, you've got Deshaun Williams in there. You've got Shamar Stephen and McTelvin Agim. It sounds to me like listen. I had to say
I knew it.
Listen, and I don't know if Mike Purcell isn't healthy right now, and they're being conservative with that. But I'm just saying, Agim has been a game day inactive several times this season already. To have him in there, and we saw him get rotational snaps a couple of times already this season and play well.
And meaningful snaps and play well. I think he had was it a sack and a half against the Chargers?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's coming on, my boy 95. I've been telling you guys, he's coming. So kind of a bummer to see Purcell not out there, but Gordon. Let's talk about it, boys. Gordon not being out there gives Javonte Williams the start tonight. What do you expect from him and this Broncos rushing offense?
Here's my concern. I'll start with this. I think if Fly sneezes in the wrong direction, that Pat Shurmur is going to give up on the running game. And, I think we're all looking at this. I'm looking at this saying, I think Williams is fully capable of it at this point. It's not an early game in his rookie year in the first season, We're this far into it. We've seen what he can do. I think he can handle the workload. Obviously, he's not going to get 100% of the snaps, but give him 75% of them. I think he's going to be doing just fine. But what I'm concerned about is Pat Shurmur's going to see that and say, oh, no, I'm going to just rely on the pass game, even though we saw what worked so well last week, using those different packages, relying on the run game early and often throughout the entire game. And so that's what I'm concerned about, is seeing what Shermer's going to do with this. It's not a last second thing, thankfully, so they've had time to talk about it and plan for it and everything. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm concerned about Pat Shermer and sticking to the run game, knowing that Williams is really, their only main running back right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors here. Here's my thing. There's a lot of factors here, like so many, and unless we're in that coaching room, we have no idea how they're going to come out. And I think that kind of plays to our advantage a little bit with Kansas City. Kansas City's defense is not going to know what we're going to play. Sometimes we go out and throw 45 times a game. Sometimes we, like the last week where we came out and ran all the time, but now we're without our number one running back in Melvin Gordon. There's a couple big pieces here. One, Javonte Williams has never been the workhorse, even in college, right? Remember, he was a two-headed horseman in college at North Carolina. So coming in and being a three-down back the whole time is going to be very difficult for him. I expect to see a lot of Mike Boone. I don't know how they're going to use him, specifically since he doesn't have a lot of carries. I think he only had a handful of carries last year in Minnesota. So as a running back, he hasn't gotten a lot of time. It's going to be interesting how they play that. I do expect kind of like a 75-25% split there, but I don't think he's going to be just a workhorse where it's only going to be Javonte Williams in the backfield. The other thing, too, that's a big part of this is, remember last week at the post-game conference, me and David listened to it on the way home, Vic Fangio gave a number to Pat Shermer and said, you will run the ball this many times. You have to hit this goal. He hit that goal. Right, he hit that goal and he made it past that goal, which is great, and we won the game for that reason. Does he do the same thing this week, or do they look at the pass game to kind of make up for the other side of it?
Time out, Jared. I'm going to let you reset your mic there as it's doing its weird thing. But as we take this quick break to do that, let's go through and remind everyone, as we still got a little bit more than an hour from game time, about our sponsor in DraftKings. So, we have a lot of things going on right now. And you know what? That's the wrong script. I'm sorry, guys. That was not the wrong one.
So professional.
So professional. I can't believe I did that.
It's okay. I got it. Football fans.
I'll let you do it.
If you're excited for the action-packed, high-scoring NFL game, DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. If you bet $1 on any team to score, you win $100 in free bets. It's that simple. If you're like me, living in California, I don't have sportsbook available out here. Betting's not legal, but you can still earn huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. This is what we need you to do. Go download that DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use that promo code TPPN down there by David, TPPN. Bet just $1 on any team to score, and you win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code TPPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. As always, must be 21 years or older in a betting state. Minimum $5 deposit required. $1 wager. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you have a gambling problem, make sure you're calling that 1-800-GAMBLER. Definitely appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. And Shane, thanks for that comment. We try to be professional, not always, but we try. We do know that there's people trying to be like us, in that we are the original Halftime Hash show. So make sure you join us at halftime for the Halftime Hash. If you see anybody else doing a halftime show live, they got the idea from us because we started it. Anyway, as you were saying there, David, about Williams. I think,
so I think Jared was saying it, but I think he's totally right. Totally right especially about Mike Boone. I also think we're probably going to see quite a bit of him. We'll see what the coaching staff thinks of him. If we don't see him a lot, we'll know that they obviously they've been saying great things about Williams. But to answer an earlier question from Chris about Caden Stearns and Kareem Jackson's back. He's active. So I expect to see both of them out there playing tonight. And I think that's going to be to the good of the defense. I think they're going to want to drop as many guys back in coverage as they can. So having more guys available is a good thing. Back to the offense. I think you've got to take what the Kansas City defense has been giving teams all year long. And whether that's Mike Boone or Javonte Williams, if you're Pat Shermer, even if they kind of put the clamps on you in the first quarter, you've got to try and stick to that running game if you can. Because even the way that they're playing the pass this year, I don't think you're going to outpass Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City.
Nope. You gotta move the ball on the ground, keep the clock rolling, keep Mahomes off the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely one of the big keys of the game is, as soon as you start throwing and incompletes and, going 3 and outs and stuff because you're panicking.
Yeah.
That's when that game can really get away from you really, really, really quickly.
Right. Yeah.
And here's another thing too. Andy Reid is a Super Bowl winning head coach for a reason. He has been doing this. He had a whole week to plan for this game, and it's going to be a difficult time going out there for that reason, right? And their offense is going to come out strong, and their offense is probably going to control a lot of the clock. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they have him in the backfield. I definitely can see them controlling the ball and controlling the clock, which might put us in weird situations. I'm again caging expectations here, guys. It might put us in weird situations where we have to throw the ball down the field just because we only have 2 minutes to score before the half, or we only have a certain amount of time. So let's cage expectations. And when we see the final stat line and he throws, Teddy Bridgewater ends up throwing 35 times in the game, there's certain situational periods, and Andy Reid is known for that. He's known for putting the opposing offenses in situations where they have to do something that plays to their strength, and that's the best part about him being such a good head coach.
Especially after, his record after the bye speaks for itself, and we've talked about it. 11-1 at home after a bye week in his career. Right. It's just, it's what Andy Reid does.
There's, then you factor how the Broncos play in Arrowhead in December. That also just doesn't bode well for the team, right?
No.
But I think there's some tricks we have up our sleeves.
You better hope that we have as many tricks up our sleeves as your router has to
That's what I'm hoping.
As your internet connection has. That was
yeah.
You think I sound like a zombie? That's definitely what we're having some technical issues today, guys. So
right.
As he goes to resets his router, David, if you guys haven't listened to the pregame podcast, make sure you guys are subscribing to Orange Weekly on all of your podcast listening devices, because we talked about a lot of this, and I think the big part about this is specifically we talked very in depth about the Williams situation, talked specifically about Andy Reid coming off of the bye. And nothing's changed, guys. Like nothing going into this game. There's not much that has changed since we recorded that, and it's kind of nice. Sometimes things do, but
yeah, right, yeah. And really, I think one of the main points that we made, Jared, for the Broncos defense especially, is that you hope that the Kansas City Chiefs play the game that they've been playing all year long. And thanks so much, Andrew. That's a lovely comment, and we're so happy to have fans like you guys watching us every single week.
Cheers.
Anyway, it's you hope that they don't come out of the bye and revolutionize the way they've been playing. Because the thing that they like to do the most is what the Broncos do best on defense. Drop players into coverage, keep the big plays from happening, keep everything in front of you and tackle and frustrate the quarterback into making a mistake. They did it against Justin Herbert and the Chargers when they wouldn't go for the run game. You have to hope the Chiefs don't go for a run game too, because the Broncos have shown a vulnerability to that this year. They've had better inside linebacker play of late, but I don't know, guys, if the Chiefs do go for that run game strategy, do you think the Broncos would be successful in shutting that down?
It's really tough to say. I mean, looking at run defense, the Broncos are ranked number 8 right now in the league. And they've definitely been moving up over the past few weeks. I mean, looking back, 3-4 weeks ago, they were down below number 15, I believe. So we have gotten better. But, it's one of those things, especially with Mahomes. They stick to that run game. That's really going to open up a chance or two for Mahomes to strike us hard. And that's scary,
Well, and to say nothing of the fact that Mahomes can gash you with his legs. He hasn't been doing that as much this season. But it's been a thing that he can do historically to you. So if you're not having, tight rush lanes, he can get free for 15 yards in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I think the most difficult part about this, and again, we mentioned this on the pregame podcast, is that interior defensive line is very strong for Kansas City, and right now it's one of our weaker points. We're going to need big games out of Kenny Young and Baron Browning, but the hardest part about that is when you have a tight end like Travis Kelce, and you have to keep that spy on him, it's very hard to play that run game as efficiently when you have to also keep kind of corner your eye out on that tight end to make sure he's not leaking out on the play action. So expect a lot of play actions, from Kansas City, if not run, play action, just because it's going to pull our guys in. Kenny Young's going to have a big game today, specifically in the run stop, in order for us to be competitive in this game.
Yeah. Look, I think these are all things that are very doable. I mean, you're talking about execution. We have to execute at an incredibly high level to keep us in this game and give us a chance, at the end of the game to put us in a winning position, right? So after what we've seen from the Broncos last week, especially coming off the bye week, there have been, who was it? Was it Browning or Stearns that was saying, look, since Vaughn's gone, things are getting strong in the locker room. Leaders, the players who are supposed to be leaders are stepping up and being leaders, and not knocking on Vaughn in any way. I'm not, whatever was going on there, I don't know, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, we have players coming out publicly now and saying, look, things are going pretty well in the locker room. We're really coming together as a unit and as a team. So I think the player focus is there. I think we've seen that this team can execute against two teams now, one at home, one on the road, two big teams anyway. So let's say that we can't do it now. My concern goes back to coaching, and are we going to get out coached, and how badly are we going to get out coached? And so Red Cloud here, how you doing? Good sir. Good to see you, man. Now that he's off his ban, at least for now, until he gets banned again. Stop getting.
He's just going to have to come over to YouTube and follow us on YouTube, so he's not banned.
Yes.
There you go.
So yeah, don't want our O to seem too predictable and force a run in order to pass. So I mean, in general, I'm not expecting exciting things from our offense, but we need to be able to keep moving in a sense that's keeping them all on their toes, but it's being effective for us. But I don't know what you guys think.
So I'm an offensive guy.
Yeah.
I like the offense. I like the scheming of the offense, and predictability is one of the hardest things to get over as an offensive coordinator, specifically at this level, right? With all the film and literally your entire full-time job, 80 hours a week is watching film to see what the other guys do. It's really hard to get out of that typical predictability. That run. I think somebody mentioned it earlier. I think it was probably Red Cloud too, but somebody mentioned it, maybe Chris, talking about that run 2-yard pass punt thought process, which seems to be going the Broncos' way, minus the Cowboys and Chargers game. I do think we can get away from that if we can get efficiency in those levels. Yeah. The problem right now is we're just not getting the efficiency in the run. We need to stick with the run because that's the strength of our O-line. Like it or not, our strength of our O-line is the run game, that inside zone, that outside zone. Our strength of our O-line, the power is all in the run game. So we need to establish that if we're getting held to 1 to 2 yards every time we run the ball, then we're going to get put into third and longs. The predictability is tough. It's tough to get over, and I'd like to not have that. For example, Drew Lock led touchdown drive, third and 8, and we do a draw to the running back, and Javonte Williams gets in the end zone, right? So part of that is we don't trust Drew Lock to do anything with the football. The more the ball that's in Drew Lock's hands, the worse I think everybody has. And second of all, though, that's an unpredictable play that we can go with the draw there on a 3rd and 8. So I'm interested to see how it goes too. I am.
Well, and tell me what this perspective does for you as a coach, Jared. Is predictability overrated if your guys can execute?
Absolutely.
Is the concept of predictability, it doesn't matter if your guys are run passing, if they're running for 6 yards a clip and getting a 7-yard pass on the tail end of that every time, you're marching down the field there.
You know who the most predictable team in the NFL is with Derrick Henry healthy is the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. You know he's getting the ball because he's so efficient with it. You could do whatever you want. You could stack the box. We're still going to run the ball because we're efficient in it. And honestly, it's one of those things. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, we're broke. Mm-hmm. Or we have been broke. We'll say that we're still we're above 500, guys. I need to stop being negative. We're above 500. We're going into being leading the AFC West.
Right. I was thinking about this today. We have as many wins as we had all last season already.
Right. So
we're not
to not be negative. Yeah. To not be negative, there's ways around it. And talking about our wide receiving core, and this can kind of transition if we need to. Our wide receiver core is probably the best, one of the best in our eyes in the NFL. And imagine having KJ Hamler out there with these 3 guys out there. It would be absolutely unreal. And we have these guys for the next at least 3 years. I'm super stoked for it. However, the predictability if it's not broke, don't fix it. If you can, against the Chargers, we kept to the run game because guess what? He was getting 4 to 5 yards every time. No matter who was at running back, was getting 4 to 5 yards every time he touched the ball. You don't change up that game plan if that's not working. Now, if you're only getting 1 to 2 yards every time you run the ball and there's just no break, then yeah, maybe you got to switch it up and try to go to the pass to establish back to the run because that's your strength. But we could go into a whole podcast about this, and I could probably get really in depth about this. But that's basically the background of where that stands.
Sounds like an off-season special we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
we'll get some guys like Tim and in here and talk about that quarterback situation too.
Yes,
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, keep watching. We're going to be around for another 20, 30 minutes or so. At the end of the show, we'll ask you guys to post your score predictions. If your score prediction is correct and the Broncos win, you'll be winning some awesome Broncos swag. So stand by for that. And, if you do win, if you recognize that you did guessed the right score, let us know. Send us a message. Hey, guys, I got it right. And then it'll help us out so we're not trying to track everything as well. But anyway, Shadow, how you doing? Broncos, too many weapons.
This is funny. Too many weapons and not doing anything with them. This is 100%. I like this analogy.
First, I was like, "Are you laughing at me?" Oh no, that comment's hilarious. Actually, that's pretty good. So stand by on the score predictions. We'll tell you when to start posting them here in a little bit. Let's see what else. So, if you're the Chiefs, what are you thinking about from your point of view? Are you concerned about anything that the Broncos have been doing, or what's going on in their heads right now?
If I'm the Chiefs, I'm worried about my game. If I'm the Chiefs, I'm saying to myself, I've been playing better on defense lately, especially in the pass defense, and we're the Kansas City Chiefs. Our offense is going to figure it out. We have Tyreek Hill, we have Travis Kelce, we have Pat Mahomes. Let's not overthink this. Let's go out there and play our game. I hope that's what the Chiefs are thinking. But to me, that's what I would be thinking. Like, we're playing better on defense. We're winning games despite the fact that our offense isn't as good as it has been. It'll come around, And again, so this Broncos team, it's a division game. You're not overlooking them, but I don't think it feels to me like if I was the Chiefs, like you've beaten them 15 times or 11 times straight, you're not overly concerned.
That's a good point. If you're the Chiefs or if you're a Chiefs fan, you got to not overlook the Broncos being 10-point favorites earlier in the week. And I think that's a lot of the talk right now is that there's a possibility we're a trap game for them on a night game, which is a big piece. Again, coming off the bye, and Andy Reid.
So crazy.
Right.
It's been a crazy football day.
Oh, every week, man. Every week in the NFL this week. So this is one of those weeks that but Andy Reid's not that kind of coach. He's not going to let it happen. He's going to call the plays. It's whether or not the execution on the field happens. Now, that's different for us. Like, for the Chiefs, Andy Reid's going to coach a good game. It's whether or not their guys actually execute. Pat Mahomes has 11 interceptions. I think 8 of them are off of tipped balls. Right? That's an execution thing. That's not something that's his fault. And it's one of those things. Now, if I'm the offense of the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm targeting Ronald Darby's side 99% of the time.
Yep.
Like,
I am
staying
very
away
concerned
from
about him.
I'm staying away from Pat Surtain. The other cool thing about this, and we talked about Travis Kelce a little bit, but having Kareem Jackson back gives us the opportunity to put a dime package in where we don't have to include Kyle Fuller, and we can put Caden Stearns in. Yeah. Right, so Caden Stearns can be either a blitz package or I'd feel comfortable putting Kareem Jackson on Travis Kelce to be able to stop that. He's got the physicality to be able to stop that if he needs to. Now, this brings up a question for both you guys, and David, you can answer the same way. But I brought this up: if we're gonna play man for whatever reason, what defender on the Broncos defense do you feel comfortable manning up with Travis Kelce?
Oh, jeez.
All right, well, I won't say Pat Surtain because that's cheap.
Because it's not going to happen. He's going to have to stay outside. Right, because Tyreek Hill is going to be playing 99% of the snaps, so there's no way that we can put Pat Surtain in there.
I mean, one-on-one, that's tough because I don't think Jackson has the speed. I think he's going to get
Kenny Young.
Maybe Baron.
Browning. Just because he has experience. Browning's just the rookie,
Sure,
Kenny Young at least has some experience.
But Browning,
and that's what's going to end up happening.
Crazy. Yeah. Browning's athleticism is so insane. I want to see. This is
Browning could be a good answer, actually.
Right, and it's kind of one of the reasons I'm so excited for this game, just to see how these young defenders play against these much ballyhooed weapons for the Chiefs, the Hill, because we will see Pat Surtain against Tyreek Hill. That matchup will happen. Baron Browning against Travis Kelce. I'm very excited to see how these guys hold up, because this is going to be possibly battles we'll see for years to come.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, at least the next couple of years.
Right.
So.
Simmons. Yeah. Okay, so Chris says Simmons, putting Simmons down there again. I think Simmons got the speed. I don't think he has the size or physicality.
Right, he could get
right, and that's the hardest part about being, the best part about being a tight end. I think it's the most underrated position in football, because you have to have it all. You have to have the physicality to take on those defensive ends on rushes and be able to block, and you have to have the speed to be able to go out there. So when you have a guy that has both, like Travis Kelce, it's hard to stop that.
Yeah, it's a matchup
as we've seen.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He always seems to have a game against Denver. I am trotting him out there in fantasy, just full disclosure for everybody. I'm going to put him out there and see how he does. Maybe that's a good omen. Maybe he gets held to no points and my fantasy team suffers a little bit this week.
So if we're going to be honest, I am also starting the Kansas City defense. Now, bear with me, everybody. The last couple times I picked the team that was playing the Broncos for my defense, the Broncos whooped up on them, and I got like 0 points from that defense. The most notable, of course, was against Cowboys. So, there's that. Also, I had bet on the Chiefs to win twice earlier this year. The Chiefs lost both of those games. I put some money down on the Chiefs this game. I'm doing my part to see if I can help some good juju flow our way.
Yeah, I want to hear any comments from our viewers if you have done anything crazier than Kevin.
Put money down on the
Put money down.
Right.
Hoping to lose money.
Hoping
to lose money.
Pretty much. I'm like, I hope that I don't get this back.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be pissed if I win money on this game.
And hope you get negative points this week. That's my my thought process exactly.
Yeah. And so Christopher brings up an interesting point here, because PS2 we will see on Hill a lot. So if we see Mecole Hardman out there getting meaningful snaps and making meaningful plays, we'll know that the Broncos are doing something right on the back end and not getting somewhere, I think, in the front end, not getting the pass rush they need. Because Mecole Hardman's going to be a third option for this offense, it feels like, most of the time. And I say most of the time, Patrick Mahomes is really good at going through his progressions, but he likes to make big plays. He likes to sit in the pocket until something down the field develops. So you really hope that your pass rush can get home before he's moving on to his third target in Mecole Hardman. What do you think about that, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. If he has to get down to the third card target, that also means that we're probably not doing a very good job in the pass rush.
Yeah.
There's ways to point to blame in certain situations. If Hardman has like 7 catches for whatever, then it's a pass rush issue, and we saw it in the Raiders game. We saw it in the Philly game, that no matter how many people we sent, we just couldn't get pressure. And it's crazy too, because against 2 good teams, against the Cowboys and the Chargers, we send 4 and we get pressure. Against 2 not so great teams, we send 4 and we don't get pressure. It's a weird season this year, and it really depends on which team shows up. But I do believe and going back to the positive here, like, I do believe this team really does understand the importance of this game and understands the importance of an AFC West and the fact that we've lost 11 in a row. Like, you could talk about it. Teddy Bridgewater was asked, like, oh, well, how do you feel about the team losing 11 in a row to Kansas City? And he was like, I don't care about the stats. We need to go out and win this game.
Right.
Like, we need to go out and be 1-0 this game, which I love that mentality, but there is a little bit in the back of, like, I got to work my ass off, because if we could beat Kansas City on a night game in Arrowhead, be number 1 the AFC West, and break that streak, that is just huge for Broncos country.
And you're talking about the momentum and the morale of the team too.
Right, and now we no longer have 7,000 or 16,000 people not show up to home games. Right. It's a huge, and for coming from the sports management side now, right, that's a huge transition to okay, you are who you are, who not made the playoffs since your Super Bowl, to now you're a contender, and you're beating a team who is considered a Super Bowl contender at their home stadium on a night game. So so many things at stake here.
really quickly, you were talking about pass rushing, and we had talked about on our Tuesday night show, Bourbon and Broncos No PS, or 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We had seen Chubb out there a few times. We never really heard his name. We knew he was on a snap count. Do we expect a lot more from him tonight? And what can we do to get that pass rush going?
Well, so with the Kansas City especially, you don't want to rush more than 4 if you can avoid it.
Yep.
You've got Jonathan Cooper in there playing well. You've got Malik Reed, Shelby Harris, Draymond Jones has been getting pretty consistent inside pressure all year. I know he hasn't really been lighting up the stat sheet every single week, but he really has been playing well all year. So get a consistent performance out of him against this really good interior offensive line of the Chiefs. If you can get a pass rush with those 4 guys, it's going to help everything you want to do on the back end.
I'm 100% with you. I think Jonathan Cooper was questionable for a while. It looks like he is playing in this game, which is nice. So having that rotation of Malik Reed, Bradley Chubb, Jonathan Cooper, I think having on the outside. But you're right, on the inside, I think it's really going to come down to whether or not we can get pressure on the inside. When we can't get pressure from the inside, the outside guys have no choice, especially against guys like Patrick Mahomes, who we have to play. And again, I mentioned this on the pregame show, the pregame podcast. When you play guys like Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, for example, who can escape whether the guy goes outside or tries to pull themselves back inside and tries to take the outside, you give that guy more time, and you can't give that guy time. You have to get the pressure from the inside and make that guy make a decision left or right, and hopefully it's the wrong one. The other thing I want to mention, too, on this pass rush is a lot of this is going to come down to, I put money on Patrick Mahomes throwing another interception to us, because I think he's going to make another mistake, and this goes down to something calling you out, David, here for good reasons. We're sitting there at the game against the Chargers, and the second David knew we won that game, the second that we knew we won that game, was that Drew Lock went in. Everyone was like, he was like, oh, we're so good, we're so good. Drew Lock made a stupid fumble or whatever it was.
Yeah, he fumbled. Yeah.
Fumbled it forward, and Tim Patrick picks it up for the first down. At that moment, we knew we won the game, because at this point in our season, where we are at right now, at this point in our season, one mistake, one little small thing that can bounce our way or go our way is the difference, right? That whatever it was, the blocked punt that we end up recovering for a first down,
absolutely,
against Dallas. That random fumble forward that we end up recovering for a first down. If we can get one of those, or the pick, the tip to the pick to Tim Patrick or to Pat Surtain to take it to 6, if we can get one of those.
And then the time it doesn't go our way, Philadelphia, we're driving to tie that game.
Absolutely, the fumble to the right. It's really just one little. Sometimes this one little thing is the grind until there's one little big change of events. And I think that we need that big change of event. And I do believe that we're going to have it. I think that they're going to make a mistake. They're going to tip a ball to us. And somebody is going to get an interception, whether it's for 6 or not. We're going to get the interception and get the points.
I mean, there's nothing bigger that could. I mean, I don't say there's nothing bigger, but what that would do for this team is just ginormous, So I'm hoping. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. And I mean, is it too late to start, or too early to start getting into score predictions?
No, I was going to
do score predictions right now. It's perfect.
Yeah, okay. Before we get into that really quickly, I want to remind everyone of all the other content we have here for you guys. Monday night, Orange Weekly After Dark, right after Monday Night Football. I just mentioned our Tuesday night, Bourbon Broncos No BS, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Check out the pregame and the postgame podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher. The postgame podcast is also streamed live to YouTube only, so make sure you go follow us on YouTube. Search for Broncos Orange Weekly over there. Hit that subscribe button. Once we get to 100 users, 100 subscribers, I can make the URL a whole lot user-friendly, and we can go from there. We also got this show, the Tailgate Talk, starts about an hour, maybe a little bit more like tonight before kickoff. We also got halftime hash. So as soon as halftime starts, we will be here live to talk about the first half with y'all. So, and then Ray's, the Ragers show. If you're into sports betting, or if you just want to hear what Vegas is thinking about the upcoming Broncos game, you can check out the Ragers podcast as well. So, yes, everyone start posting your score predictions. I know we got some up here, but Jared.
Also, make sure you're following us personally on Twitter. I feel like I'm not doing too hot. I'm also not as active as I should be. But yeah, Coach Jared E, Kev Dan NFL, and then obviously the Orange Weekly page. David runs that Orange Weekly page like a champ.
This is the thing. I have a personal account too, but I don't ask people to follow me because I'm not a good follow. And I don't want to say Jared isn't a good follow, but if you were a better follow, more people would follow you. That's all I'm trying to say.
David runs the Orange Weekly account very well, so go follow that first. Go follow that first, and I'd say about 75% of my posts are just retweets of his Simpsons gifs. And I
have a good Simpsons gif here for most things. That's the thing. It's been on for 30 years. There's a gif for most situations. It's a gift. It's a show that keeps on giving.
It sure is.
Yeah. Back to the Broncos. What do you guys think, besides running the ball, in the passing game, if the Broncos have to pass, let's say the Chiefs shut down the thing we want to do first, which is run the ball. How do the Broncos pass their way to a victory here?
Short passes, not 2-yard passes, but don't expect Teddy to stay in the pocket for 5 seconds. 5-yard slants or something. Get the offense in a groove. Get some confidence in Teddy. Get some confidence in the receivers. Spread the ball around. Once you start doing that, that should eventually start opening up the run game. So you got to keep going back to that. But I think early on, don't test them by trying to launch the ball down the field or whatever. Like that's just, to me, like that's just wasted down. So for me, I'm just saying play smart. Don't risk any interceptions or any sacks. Just go out there, some quick passes that'll, get you some good yardage, but build confidence in this team. Calm the crowd down at home as best as you can in Arrowhead. So those are some big things that I think they need to do right off the bat.
Very good.
I think mine is find the matchups. And David, we went over this in the pregame, so I'm not going to rehash it, but the matchups are really important in here. Their number one slot corner is out, and our number one slot wide receiver is probably one of the best slot receivers in the NFL with Jerry Jeudy. Uh-huh. So I think there's a way to find that matchup. If they put Tyrann Mathieu on Jerry Jeudy, you have the top open. They play single high safety with a one-on-one there. There's no way that Tyrann Mathieu keeps up with Jerry Jeudy. However, on the outside, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick on the outside with Jerry Sneed and Ward, you have the opportunity to get there. But yeah, and finally, something that we, for some reason, and I don't know what changed for the last 3 years with this coaching staff, but why are we not getting the ball to our freaking tight ends more? Noah Fant and Alberto have a huge matchup in this game. I expect them to have big games, both Noah Fant and Alberto to have huge games because the matchup level is just that good. Mm-hmm. Matthew could probably match up with one of those, but not both. If we do 2 tight end sets, run the ball, and do a play action there's one of those guys going to be open for a big gain a couple times, and I don't think it's going to be a once and done thing. I think this is going to be a big one. Get the ball to our tight ends. Pat Shurmur. Pat, I know. Look, man, I know you got a lot going on right now, and you're probably getting ready for the game. You're probably out there for warm-ups, but you're listening. I get it. Get the ball to our tight ends. God.
Yep.
Boy, Jared said that very intimately into the microphone. That was in my ear.
I'm glad it was. I'm glad that was, yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
It was like I could feel his hot, moist breath right here, like as he was saying it. It was a lot, but Pat Shurmur, I do hope you got that message.
Oh, yes. They did.
Yes.
I'm playing it.
So let's talk about score predictions. What do you got?
Oof.
I forgot what I said on the pregame podcast, David. I'm not going to lie.
Well, so I'm going to give you a minute to think about it because I also don't remember. But I remember mine. And I will say the times in which I've picked the Broncos to lose this season are the times they do the best. So I will say Broncos 28. I'm sorry, Kansas City 28, Broncos 21. I think the Broncos do keep it close, but I don't think that they're quite ready to beat Kansas City in their place in December.
I'm going to go with Broncos 24-20. I think, we've seen the defense hold some other big name teams to low scores. And I just feel like, look, they've done this before. We're not asking the impossible from them. So they can go out there as long as they go out there and really execute well and play smart. 24-20 Broncos win. I don't get my money back and my fantasy team suffer, but good Lord, am I going to be happy?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that low. I think there's going to be I think the second half of this game is going to be pretty high scoring. I think the first half is going to be kind of low. The second half of this game is going to be pretty high scoring. Somebody earlier. Yeah, no, me too. No, somebody earlier was mentioning that the first to 30, David, shut up. Can you just just for once, can you just be cool? Be cool, just once.
I'll try.
Just once, be cool.
I'll try just this one time. I don't know how to do it like this. I don't really. I've never done it before, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull it off this one time. But let's give it a shot.
So here we are. I think I don't think it's a first to 30. I do think it's, I think both teams score 24 for sure. I think it's a 24-28, 24-27 game for the Broncos. I think we could pull off this win, and I think it'd be a big statement win, not just for the season, but for the Denver Bronco franchise. Now, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys said that it was a kind of a blowout. If tomorrow we're sitting here on the After Dark show or on Tuesday night show and we're sitting here and we got blown out on a night game, I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is the worst ever. It's just like, I can't believe this. Like, this is the worst. But like the way that the season has been going, I don't know which team is going to show up.
Don't know.
And the only thing that's got me kind of happy is that the last night game we had was a short week. And it's not like we got blown out. It was just kind of a shitty game for the Broncos. But now you go into this game, it's a night game. Them coming off a bye, us getting a bunch of people back. Like, it's a very even-keeled. I think Vegas, 10 points for the way that both teams have been playing this year, back and forth, is a lot. I think this is a lot closer game. I think this is a close game, and if for whatever reason we get blown out, it's next game up, because it's not the end of our season. This isn't one of those. This is an end of our season if it happens. And Vic Fangio hopefully understands the importance of this game. If we win this game, that's his job. I think he keeps his job at the end of the year if we win this game.
Kev, maybe it's just me, but in all of that, did Jared actually give a score prediction?
Yeah. I did.
He said 27, 24, 28, 24.
David, how high are you?
I mean,
how much edibles did you take before this game?
It's not so much that I stopped paying attention to what you were saying about halfway through that. Like,
that was like early in my speech. That was like I was going on a ramble. That was early in my ramble, man.
Was it?
Like,
okay. I guess I tuned out pretty quick. This supposed to be when people are. This is supposed to be how people go when I'm talking.
David.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is where I'm at, Andrew. Low points. I think if we keep it at low points, we have a better chance to win. If we're asking the Broncos to put up 27, 28 points again against the Chiefs, that's where I'm thinking, I don't know. But who knows? You're right. What Broncos team is going to show up? No idea.
So this is important. Andrew, I love this comment. Offense and defense, this is like where we are as a Broncos franchise right now. The offense and defense need to play perfectly in order to win this game. Kansas City can make a couple mistakes and still probably win this game. That's where we're at in our franchise, but I think a statement game like that would be huge. Huge, huge, huge for the Denver Broncos franchise.
Yep. Agreed. Okay. I think I got your score predictions.
If Vic keeps his job tonight, I don't want the Broncos to win. Fire Vic. You know what? Raymond would be on this level right now. I feel like Raymond, if I asked him right now, he'd be like, what? Take the game, take the loss, and let somebody else come in.
And we'll move on. That's a conversation for a few weeks from now when we know if we're going to have a playoff spot or not. Who knows, guys? There's so much that's going to be happening over the next 6 weeks. Stick with us here at Orange Weekly. We'll be covering, of course, all the way through the end of the year. And during the off season, as important things are happening and whatnot. So we're going into this is our 6th year. We're not going away anytime soon. But with that being said, I got to get some food before the game starts. Jared and David, thank you very much for joining me. Everybody who's been watching, really appreciate it. And tell all of your other friends, check out the halftime show. As soon as halftime starts, that's when I'm breaking that down. Ray's going to be watching the game here with me, so he might make a guest appearance on the halftime show. We'll see. No promises. And then if we don't see it halftime, we'll see other shows and other podcasts this next week. But at the end of the day, it's cool to be having this conversation versus just we suck, and this is going to be an ugly game. So
this is probably like, again, this is like the most difficult game to pregame this. Like, this was probably one of the most difficult pregame podcasts we had to do, because it's like, for both teams, which team is going to show up? And at this point, it's a toss up. I don't care what Vegas says. I think at this point, it's a coin flip at which team shows up in a dominating fashion, and we just go from there and just hope for a Broncos win. Expect a big game, an exciting game, and hope at the end of the day the Broncos win.
We'll see. Okay, gents. Well, thank you very much, and I think it's time we ended on a very strong, as always.
Go Broncos.
See ya.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.